This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
COVID-19 is spreading among first responders, although it's a slow spread as of now. This midday, IMPD says 12 police officers have tested positive for the coronavirus. Those officers are now in self-quarantine at home. IMPD says another 26 officers tested negative. The police officers were tested at a drive-through facility set up by Eli Lilly outside of the drug company's Indianapolis headquarters. A spokesperson for the police department tells us that, quote, officers are sent for testing following an exposure protocol developed in partnership, end quote, with Indianapolis EMS. The protocol is designed to keep our workforce healthy and able to serve. Those testing positive represent only a fraction of the more than 1,600 officers that are employed by Metro Police. And at least 9 firefighters here in Indianapolis have also tested positive for the coronavirus. Again, that's a small percentage of the number of firefighters on the force. The Indianapolis Fire Department says the firefighters did not all work out of the same fire station. The department says other members of IFD who might have been in contact with those firefighters are taking advantage of this free testing offered by Eli Lilly. All of the firefighters who have tested positive are in self-quarantine. Today, Indiana saw the largest single-day jump in the number of cases of COVID-19 and deaths from the virus since this pandemic began. The state health department says another 374 positive cases were confirmed, and that pushed Indiana past the 2,000 mark in total cases. Also, another 14 deaths statewide were reported, bringing the total number of coronavirus deaths to 49. Marion County saw 160 new cases over the past 24 hours. That brings the county's total to 964. Both Hamilton and Johnson counties are now over 100 total cases as well. Governor Holcomb and the state health commissioner continued their daily briefings on this pandemic and its impact on the state of Indiana. The governor and other state officials will talk to reporters at 2:30 this afternoon. We will have live coverage here on RTV6 as well as the IndyChannel.com and the RTV6 Facebook page. Now, you may recall over the weekend, the U.S. Surgeon General naming Indianapolis as one of 6 emerging hotspots for COVID-19 in our country. Dr. Jerome Adams knows Indy well. He was Indiana's state health commissioner and helped confront the HIV epidemic in several Indiana counties before his nomination as Surgeon General. Dr. Adams sent a statement to RTV6 calling on his adopted hometown to embrace social distancing that's necessary to slow the spread of this virus. Dr. Adams says, quote, what metropolitan areas like Indianapolis do right now will determine their trajectory and outcomes in the coming days and weeks, end quote. He also says he is, quote, confident in the leadership of Dr. Virginia Kane, the director of the city's public health department, as well as current state health commissioner, Dr. Chris Fox. We do want to take a turn right now to our forecast on this Tuesday. We know today is kind of the cooler spot in our 7-day forecast. So let's check in right now with Todd Clausen on what we can expect if we're trying to get outside for some fresh air, Todd.
Yeah, just cool and cloudy. You're definitely going to need the jacket if you're going to be out and about throughout the day today, with temperatures that are only in the 30s and 40s. And to be honest, temperatures are probably not going to climb a whole lot more from where they are right now, only going up another couple degrees for your afternoon highs. 44 in Bloomington, 40 right now in Indianapolis, 38 in Tipton as well as Richmond, and Lafayette sitting at 45 degrees. We had a little bit of sunshine early this morning, but you can see the clouds are now firmly in place. I'll show you the big picture, what's going on right now, and then take it in a little bit closer for you. This big storm system passed just to our south, so we'll miss out on all that precipitation. That will not impact us directly, but as this makes its way up the East Coast, we will have to deal with the upper level low, and typically those don't have nearly as much moisture with them. And you do notice a few isolated rain showers here in Fort Wayne. These will back into the area this afternoon. Anything we do see will be very, very light. It's very spotty. It's definitely not going to wash out any walks or runs that you have planned with you or your family later on this afternoon. The bigger issue going to be the temperatures as we only climb up, Lauren. It's right around 44 degrees.
Todd, thank you. The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases across the United States is now at more than 165,000, with more than 3,100 deaths connected to the virus. Americans are starting to feel the financial squeeze as our economy slows. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had some sharp words for the president over his response to this virus. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has more.
The coronavirus health crisis quickly morphing into an economic one. Moody's Analytics chief economist Mark Zandi projecting 4.5 million new unemployment claims could be reported this week, while major retailers like Macy's and The Gap are furloughing employees. Travel and other service industries have seen a steep decline in demand, and businesses and families are desperately waiting for financial relief from that $2 trillion stimulus package, which includes extended unemployment benefits and checks for millions of Americans.
Both of our incomes for our bills just were taken away from us.
President Trump maintains he's taken swift action from the very beginning to curb coronavirus effects.
This is a pandemic. I felt it was a pandemic long before it was called a pandemic.
But the president at times gave messages that his own health experts disagreed with.
And again, when you have 15 people, and the 15 within a couple of days is going to be down to close to zero.
Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi with a stark rebuke for the president on CNN Sunday.
So we should be taking every precaution. What the president, his denial at the beginning was deadly.
In an interview on Fox and Friends, Trump responded.
Sad thing. Look, she's a sick puppy, in my opinion. She really is. She got a lot of problems, and that's a horrible thing to say.
Meanwhile, over the weekend, President Trump reversed his call to reopen businesses by Easter and instead extending the White House guidelines on social distancing until the end of April.
I think that's doing well. I mean, I look at the streets. You look at New York where I look down Fifth Avenue. Today, they were showing a shot of Fifth Avenue and sort of prime time, and there was almost nobody on Fifth Avenue. I've never seen that before.
The House Speaker says a fourth phase of stimulus legislation could be in the works, and that House Democrats want to boost funding for states that so desperately need it, as well as add another round of cash payments for Americans. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Wayne Township schools have made changes to slow the spread of the coronavirus while making sure students and their families get enough to eat. The district has been providing thousands of meals every week at 3 different schools. The process now is parents drive up, open their trunk, they show using 3 fingers or however many children they have without rolling down their windows. Employees get the food together and then they place it in the trunk.
One of our missions is to make sure that we continue to provide service to our children. We want to make sure we do so in a way that also protects our employees from this pandemic.
Superintendent Jeffrey Butts says he knew that he had to make some changes to food distribution when the U.S. Surgeon General listed Indianapolis as an emerging hotspot for the COVID-19 cases. He says Wayne Township will reevaluate their system at the end of the week and determine if any additional changes are needed. A reminder, if you're having trouble putting food on the table, you're not alone. Help is available. Many Central Indiana school districts, Indy parks, churches, businesses, and many other agencies and organizations are offering free meals. Many food pantries are also still providing services. You can find dates, times, and locations on our website, theindychannel.com. A solar power company is looking now to hire Hoosiers. Coming up, why the company says it's experiencing a boom in customers and who they're looking to hire to help meet that demand. A nationwide restaurant chain based in Indy is still serving up steak burgers and milkshakes, and discounts are being offered to those who are on the front lines of this pandemic. Todd.
And Lauren, it's a chilly day here in central Indiana with temperatures that are in the 30s and 40s. In fact, nearly 15 to 20 degrees below normal as of right now. But the warmer air, that is just off to our west. And the good news is it's heading our way. We'll have the timeline of when it arrives coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
Magic Way, Wednesday, 10/9 Central on ABC.
Welcome back. RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers initiative is always committed to connecting you to job opportunities and resources, but that mission is even more urgent right now as unemployment skyrockets amid the COVID-19 outbreak. Our Kelsey Anderson has more on a career that taps into an unlimited resource.
With so many unknowns right now, some people are worried that something could happen to the power grid, and they're reaching out to solar companies looking for energy independence. And now those solar companies are looking to hire you so they can keep up with demand. Ben Brookhart is the co-founder and chief sales officer for Power Home Solar. He says right now they are seeing more demand than ever before for solar energy. That means they need more employees to satisfy that demand. He tells me they receive more leads in Indiana than in any any other of the 8 states they operate in.
We're hiring for the entire state of Indiana, not just Indy. That's where our office is located, but we are hiring for the entire state.
They are hiring sales consultants and installers. Brookhart says the company provides a 401k, a company car, a gas card, plus training. Brookhart says for both positions, no experience is required. So if you're interested in a job in the solar field, head over to hiringhoosiers.com. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Well, they could be at higher risk for COVID-19 than others. Next, how one group is trying desperately to find open spaces for a group of people in which social distancing is sometimes impossible. And let's take a live look outside right now on this Tuesday. This is our Weather Now camera down in Bloomington at the campus of Indiana University. You can see some clouds up there in the skies, and Todd Clausen will break down our full forecast looking ahead to the rest of the week. That's coming up when we return here on the news at noon on RTV6. Stick around.
800-850-5054.
A nonprofit group is working quickly to get a high-risk group some extra help during this pandemic. The Damien Center is dedicated to helping people with HIV. Some of the people they connect with are also experiencing homelessness. After a man staying at the Wheeler Mission in downtown Indianapolis tested positive for COVID-19, the Damien Center started moving people with HIV from shelters to hotels. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker shows you why one Damien Center worker hopes this outbreak will change the way that homelessness is addressed here in Indianapolis.
Having 3,000 people who are unsheltered that are putting their lives at risk every day should always bother someone.
Tyne Parlett says not addressing homelessness and overcrowded shelters has set up a potentially deadly situation during the coronavirus pandemic.
The thought that people were totally fine with people sleeping 1 to 2 feet away from somebody, 400 at a time, being served meals and thinking like that's just what Wheeler Mission does, that's what Good News does. Well, that's not okay.
The Damien Center focuses their work on people living with HIV. Tyne tells me those who are homeless and also HIV positive are more than likely having trouble getting their medicine, which creates a whole host of other issues. So getting coronavirus for them would be even worse.
We knew it was paramount for us to act pretty quickly and pretty creatively about what we could do to get people with HIV out of these kinds of living situations and into places that would be safe for them.
Tyne is hopeful this difficult time for everyone will make an actual impact on ending homelessness once things get back to normal.
Until we as a community see people as humans and recognize that this is something that's affecting us and touching us every day, even when we can't see it, we aren't going to end homelessness.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
In 4 days, the Damien Center has moved 31 people out of shelters and into hotels where they'll stay for the next 30 days at least. If you or someone you know needs help from the Damien Center, you can find their contact information at our website, theindychannel.com. Last week, Indiana Family and Social Services Administration announced it's in the process of setting up a medical facility to treat people experiencing homelessness who test positive for COVID-19. That location has not yet been revealed. Free emergency department beds will also be placed across the city for additional patients needing care. Time now for a check of our forecast on this Tuesday. Here's a live look downtown. View to the west, kind of a blah day right now, Todd.
Yeah, and that's not going to change here, Lauren, as we work our way throughout the remainder of the afternoon and eventually into the evening hours. These clouds are going to hold pretty tough, and then some of you, unfortunately, are going to see a few isolated sprinkles move in from time to time. 40 degrees, that's the current temperature. The wind not as strong as it has been the past 2 days, so that's good news. The problem is our wind direction has not changed. We are talking about a wind out of the north-northwest, and that's a chilly wind direction. As a result, that's going to keep our temperatures from warming much more as we work our way throughout the course of the afternoon and into the evening hours. In fact, look at all these temperatures to the north, only in the 30s. Our normal high this time of year, 58 degrees, so full 20 degrees below normal as of this noon hour. In Tipton's 39, in Richmond, mid-40s as you work your way from Bloomington over towards Bedford. Highs today in northern locations only getting up to right around 41 in Marion, 42 in Logansport, about 44 in Richmond to the south. A little bit warmer. We get a few 50s on on the board here in Bedford as well as Seymour, but otherwise cloudy skies there as well. Probably a little less in the way of shower activity across southern portions of central Indiana. But you can't rule out a stray shower here in the metro area with temperatures that will be in the low to mid 40s. I mentioned the shower chance. The clouds are firmly in place. I'll zoom here into northeast portions of the state, and you notice just a few very isolated rain showers starting to enter the state. These are going to make their way in from east to west. A little odd. We usually see west to east as far as our precipitation goes, but with the area of low pressure and the counterclockwise flow, the low pressure center is off to our east as this storm system starts to make its way up the east coast. That's what's going to pinwheel some showers back in our direction. Now, if you do encounter some of these this afternoon and this evening, they're all very, very light. That is the good news. Enough to probably wet the ground, but not cause any puddles out there. And so you may have to just throw a hood up and with your jacket, but I don't know if you need to carry the umbrella around all day as these spotty showers build in. Your evening forecast keeps the temperatures in the 40s with the clouds that will be in place. Tomorrow morning, we probably wake up to a little bit of cloud cover, but then we'll thin the clouds out. Temperatures climb up into the low 50s. It turns into a decent afternoon. Tomorrow starts the warming trend. I mentioned earlier, 58's the average high. That's that yellow line right there. Just below it tomorrow, but starting Thursday and then all the way through the weekend, we are above average temperature-wise. That puts us anywhere from about 60 to 65 degrees for your high temperature. Dry through Friday with the exception of those sprinkles later on this afternoon. Then better rain chances Saturday and Sunday, but even those rain chances, Lauren, looks to be very light and scattered in nature.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Well, We're Open Indy is our effort to let you know about restaurants that are up and running during the coronavirus shutdown. One chain that's been around for decades continues to serve up its famous steak burgers, and they're staying connected to their communities. Our Brad Brown has a closer look.
For more than 85 years, Steak 'n Shake has been a go-to option for diners looking for that famous taste of a classic burger and fries. Now, Steak 'n Shake is being a to-go option, with dining rooms shut down all over the state.
Drive-through is very constant for us. We're drive-through, carry-out, delivery. That's always been a constant for us. So it hasn't been a huge change, to be honest. Obviously, we've shut our dining room down, so the face-to-face interaction has gone away. But the drive-through, it's always been constant for us.
With their corporate headquarters in downtown Indianapolis and more than a dozen locations in the area, Steak 'n Shake keeps close ties to central Indiana.
Since this happened, we've had great support in the community. We've been out, as you saw, we have Sizzle and Shaker out there with the community. We've been around to local businesses, handing out coupons for free shakes. I think we'd like to rally around the community.
And now they're offering essential deals, giving 20% off to anyone working on the front lines of the COVID-19 battle. Medical staff, first responders, delivery drivers, and more.
It's great. I mean, it's an honor to be able to be here for the community, salute the people that are doing, what needs to be done here, and us being able to be here for them.
A little taste of comfort, a little nostalgia, and hopefully soon a seat in one of those cozy booths. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Brad, thank you. Well, most Steak 'n Shake restaurants in our area remain open, and while they're usually going 24 hours a day, currently each location has different times for service. You can find a list of restaurants and other businesses that are still open to serve you on our website, theindychannel.com. When we come back, it's time for our Pet of the Week. We'll introduce you to Hopeful. She's a wonderful dog, hoping that you can give her a good home. That's right after the break.
Was we even there?
We can't have her in the studio right now, but we still want to make sure that you see our Pet of the Week from Indy Humane. Take a look. This is Hopeful. Hopeful is a spunky young dog who arrived at Indy Humane late last year as a severely emaciated stray. She was nursed slowly back to a healthy weight and is now looking for a forever home. Here she is. Indy Humane says Hopeful will do best in a home where she can be the only pet in the house. She loves people, toys, petting, and scratches. She'll need an adopter who can be active with her since she's still young, and she's going to need that daily playtime and walks. Hopeful's adoption fee is just $175. You can find out more and set up an appointment to maybe take Hopeful home by visiting indyhumane.org. All right, Todd, if people are heading out to take those dogs for a walk today, what's their best time?
You're going to have to bundle up. Your dog might not want to go on the longest walk here throughout the day today because it's a little chilly, below average, mostly cloudy skies. A sprinkle or two will be possible this afternoon. A little warmer tomorrow. We get the sunshine back at 53. Then we're back into the 60s Thursday all the way through the weekend with just a chance chance of a few spotty showers on Saturday and Sunday.
Todd, thank you, and thanks for joining us and making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope you come back this afternoon. Join us for the news at 5 o'clock. Be safe out there. Have a great Tuesday afternoon.